So, how are you holding up? I ask this seriously because preparing for the civil services examination is not a normal season of anyone's life. It is long, it is quiet, and it will change the entire course of your life. That is the excitement of it, and that is the pressure of it. Welcome to the Sociology Desk, and this is issue 41. Today's brief is tight, and it is exam facing. We will do two things. First, the Supreme Court's ruling that has put artificial intelligence itself on trial inside the Indian courtroom. Second, the Bengaluru daycare abuse case that will teach you more about patriarchy than any textbook. In both, I want you to feel the muscle memory of a top ranker. The one thing that separates a top ranker from the rest is not effort. It is the ability to sync a live event with the right sociological concept, the right thinker, and the right architecture. Let us begin. Event 1. On 2 July 2026, a division bench of Justice Narasimha and Justice Aradhe set aside the orders of the National Company Law Tribunal and the National Company Law Appellate Tribunal in Pooja Ramesh Singh versus Jammu and Kashmir Bank Limited. The tribunals had relied on precedents that did not exist. Non-existent judgments, fake citations, generated by artificial intelligence tools, cited as if they were real. The court called this the release of methyl isocyanide in the province of law and justice. Now for us, this is not a technology story. This is a Paper 1 sociological event, and it belongs to Unit 10, Social Change in Modern Society, Subunit Science, Technology, and Social Change. Here is the concept you need. Modern law, in Max Weber's account, is legitimated by what he calls formal rationality. That means decisions must be based on calculable, predictable rules, and the reasons a judge relies on must be traceable. This is the iron cage of legal rational authority. Now think carefully. What happens when the very reasons cited by a tribunal are invented? The cage stands procedurally, but the substance inside it is a fiction. This is Weber's iron cage, contaminated from inside. You are not writing about AI. You are writing about the crisis of formal rationality. The event is your evidence. The theory is your destination. The thinker is Max Weber. The concept is rationalization and the iron cage of formal rationality. Here is your quotable formulation, and I want you to write this down. As Max Weber argued in Economy and Society, the specific rationality of modern law lies in its calculability. When the very authorities relied upon are unreal, calculability collapses into a formal shell without substantive legitimacy. That single sentence, deployed correctly, tells the examiner you know why this event matters. Now add depth. Jürgen Habermas argues that institutions like the courtroom are Lifeworld practices. That means they run on reasoned discourse between actual human beings. When a generative machine replaces the advocate's argument, an instrumental system rationality has colonized the life world of deliberation. The court's language, that even an iota of hallucinated material vitiates the process, is exactly this Habermasian intuition translated into constitutional doctrine. So you now have two thinkers, Weber for the diagnosis, Habermas for the pathology. Now let me put on the examiner's hat, because this is where scores are made. Imagine two answer scripts side by side. Script A opens with, "In 2026, the Supreme Court ruled on AI." That script will score around 14 out of 20. Why? Because it is narrating the event. The event is the subject. Script B opens with a structural claim. The legitimacy of modern law rests on Max Weber's formal rationality. It then, in one sentence, uses the Pooja Ramesh Singh case as evidence. It brings in Habermas on the colonization of the life world. It closes with guidance on reflexive expert systems and the Bar Council of India directive as institutional repair. That script scores 18 or 19. The refrain, and I want you to say this to yourself every day. The current event is your evidence. The theory is your destination. Do not narrate, diagnose. Here is a probable mains 2026 question. 20 marks, paper 1. In the light of the Supreme Court's 2 July 2026 ruling declaring zero tolerance for AI-hallucinated judicial precedents, critically examine Max Weber's thesis of rationalization and the iron cage of formal rationality. Now think about how you would structure that. Opening claim: Weber on formal rationality. Middle: Habermas on the colonization of the deliberative life world. Evidence: the ruling, in one sentence. Close: Guidance on reflexive institutional repair. That is a top band answer. Event 2. On 29 June 2026, the HAL police in Bengaluru registered a first information report against 5 women caregivers at the Little Buds daycare center. This facility operated inside the Brookfield campus of Capgemini, the French information technology multinational. Toddlers aged 2 to 3 were shown in leaked videos being locked inside a washing machine drum, sprayed with a toilet jet spray, and confined in bathrooms. The caregivers were booked under Section 351 of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita and Section 75 of the Juvenile Justice Act. Now here is the crucial move. This is not a crime story. This is paper 2. Systems of Kinship in India, Subunit Patriarchy, Entitlements, and Sexual Division of Labor. Now look at the fact you must not skip. Every single one of the 5 accused caregivers is a woman. Now you may be wondering, so what? Here is the analytical move. Care work has moved out of the joint family. It has moved out of the domestic kitchen. It has moved into a corporate campus, operated by a third-party vendor on a wage relation. And yet, it is still done by women. Only women. What does that tell you? The location of care has changed. The gender coding of care has not. Patriarchy has not been dismantled. It has been outsourced. The thinker is Leela Dube. The concept is seed and earth from her landmark work on South Asian kinship. Dube argued that patrilineal kinship symbolically constructs men as active seed and women as passive earth, and this coding produces a sexual division of labor that survives migration, that survives wage work, that survives even the commodification of care itself. Your quotable formulation. As Leela Dube argued in Women and Kinship, the sexual division of labor in South Asian societies is inscribed at the level of kinship symbolism and cannot be dissolved by the mere entry of women into paid employment. Write that down. That is a top answer sentence. Now add Karl Marx. Marx did not write about creches, but his category of commodification maps onto this event with clinical accuracy. What is happening in Bengaluru? Reproductive labor, which was once done by the mother, the grandmother, the aunt inside the household, is now a wage relation. A working-class woman is contracted through a third-party vendor to nurture the child of a professional-class woman. In Marxist terms, the caregiver is alienated from her own labor. The child is estranged from the person into whose custody the mother has contracted her. This is alienation extended into intimate life. And the policy responses, the mandatory creche under the labor codes for establishments with 50 or more workers, the 17,000 Anganwadi cum creches promised under the Palna scheme. These are half answers. They regulate the market for care. They do not disturb the gender coding of care. Now switch to the examiner's chair. Two scripts. Script A opens with, "The Bengaluru daycare abuse case shocked the nation." That is narration. That is 14 out of 20. Script B opens with a structural claim. Patriarchy in contemporary India is being restructured, not dismantled, by the entry of professional women into salaried work. It anchors that claim in Leela Dube's Seed and Earth framework. It brings in marks on the commodification and alienation of care. It uses the Bengaluru case in 1 to 2 sentences as evidence. It notes the Palna scheme and the Labour Code creche mandate. It closes with a redistributive point, not a moral condemnation. That script scores 18 or 19. Notice the pairing: one Indian feminist thinker, Dube, and one Western structural thinker, Marx. That combination is highly rewarded in Paper 2. Probable question, 20 marks. Paper 2. In the light of the June 2026 Bengaluru corporate creche abuse case, critically examine the proposition that outsourcing care work restructures rather than dismantles patriarchy in India. Substantiate with reference to Leela Dube. Your structure. Opening claim: patriarchy restructured, not dismantled. Middle: Dube's Seed and Earth, then Marx on commodification, then David Morgan on family practices. Evidence: the Capgemini case in 2 sentences. Close: labor codes and the Palna scheme cannot solve what remains a gender coding problem. Quick revision. From Event 1, remember Max Weber's iron cage of formal rationality and Habermas on the colonization of the deliberative life world by system rationality. From Event 2, remember Leela Dube's Seed and Earth as the concept that captures why care remains coded feminine even after it moves out of the household, and Marx on the commodification and alienation of reproductive labor. And above all, remember the refrain: the event is your evidence, the theory is your destination. Do not narrate, diagnose. Before we close, the paper that will make or break your rank in sociology optional is the paper that rewards this specific skill: taking a live event and syncing it with the exact concept and the exact thinker. That is what this channel trains you to do every single day. If you would like the full-styled PDF brief for today, with the complete answer blocks, the model answers, the answer skeleton, the quotation arsenal, the flashcards, and the examiner notes, drop your email in the comments or write to us at team@upscdesk.com, and the team will share the subscription details. Do wish you well. UPSC preparation is long and it is draining, and the real secret is not brilliance.